Welcome back to the program. Welcome to the Conversation Corner. New analysis came out this week from JPMorgan. It said gas prices could hit $5 per gallon as soon as this month if, this is an important if, the Strait of Hormuz stays closed. Now, according to AAA, the average price for a gallon of regular gas has risen to $4.14, and that, at the moment, shows no signs of slowing down. Economist, former Trump economic advisor Stephen Moore, here with me to discuss. Steve, always great to see you. Thanks for coming in.
I just paid $4.50 a gallon, so I don't know what you're talking about. $4.19.
Average. That's the average. So we're taking other lower price per gallon gasoline prices and put that in there. But you know the White House is on this, knows this is a potential political problem. Every House Republican I talk to says it's a huge political problem. Even some nervous Senate Republicans know it's a political problem. Sure. What can be done about it other than ending the war?
Well, ask me that question tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, we're going to know, right?
Tonight what's going to happen with the Iran situation. Listen, we have the lowest gas prices adjusted for inflation in a long, long time, just 3 or 4 months ago, and now the prices keep heading up. I agree with Goldman Sachs that if this continues and the Strait is not open, then you could very easily see $5. By the way, in California, they're already paying.
They're already, yeah.
So it is really an imperative that we get the Strait open as soon as possible. And by the way, it's not just the United States; it's all over the world. I mean, the UK and the Europeans are even more dependent on that oil than we are.
We are not dependent on it, but it is a globally traded commodity, and that global trading.
I get asked this question 10 times a day from people. Actually, people don't realize we're actually a net exporter.
Right. We're an exporter. Why are we affected by this?
Exactly.
Break
and it's because there's this global demand and global supply, and so.
And it's a globally traded commodity.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And by the way,
you were a big advocate.
One other quick thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, you know what else major commodity goes through the Strait of Hormuz?
Liquefied natural gas and fertilizer.
Fertilizer, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is going to hurt farmers as well because fertilizers prices have risen a lot, and so we got to get the Strait open. I think it is going to happen, and when it does, by the way, when it does happen, I think just as fast as that price came up, you could see it come down pretty quickly.
But when it opens is a big key.
Right.
Now, you and I have known each other a long time.
Yes.
Longtime advocate you have been of lower marginal tax rates. Mm-hmm. The so-called Big Beautiful Bill did that. There are big refunds coming. Mm-hmm. How much of this gas price situation is going to eat into or devour those refunds?
Oh, that's a good question. It depends on how long these prices stay high. Really, it's only been 4 or 5 weeks so far. So if we go into the summer and we still have prices that high, then it will eat into because we estimate the average middle income family this year, because of that Big Beautiful Bill, saved about $2,000 on their taxes, but they may be paying $1,500 more for gas. So it could erase some of the economic advantages.
And those were being counted on by the White House and advocates of that policy to prove their utility by stimulating economic growth and creating jobs.
Yeah, well, look, Trump is making the case that this is short-term pain for a longer-term gain of having a peaceful and more prosperous world. And, that is the question, by the way, in terms of politics. Will Americans accept that proposition that, okay, I'm willing to pay a little bit more for gas, $1 a gallon more to, rid the world of a menace? I don't know.
What's your hunch on that?
It depends on how long this takes, and what the fallout is.
What would you say is from an economic and also political perspective, because you have these dual conversations all the time in this town? 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks max?
If I were a military expert, I could probably answer that question better than I am an economist. But I will say, though, I do think by early summer, which is still a couple months away, we will see some resolution to this. And the resolution will be the Strait will be reopened. I want to make sure people understand there's no shortage of oil in the world. Remember, when we were growing up, people said, "Oh, we're running out of oil." The world is not running out of oil.
Just because they cut off supply.
Yeah. So we have just a problem of it's called a supply chain problem.
Right.
And by the way, what we need to do, I think, one lesson of this is let's make America so energy independent that we don't have to. For your and my whole careers, the Middle East has been this huge problem back in the 70s in the Iranian hostage situation. So we want to be able to decouple ourselves from the Middle East.
Well, this is going to be one of those moments of either coupling closer or decoupling entirely. Stephen Moore, always great to see you. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.